Welcome to episode 3 of the APDA Videocast Series. Today we're talking about the basics of weight pull training for conditioning. In our previous videocasts, we talked about the importance of using a properly fitted freight or weight pull harness. We also talked about several types of equipment available for training. For training at home, you can easily use a drag sled, a snow sled filled with dirt, snow, even rocks for weight, tires, chains, or water-filled bottles clipped directly to your dog's harness. So let's get started with some training at home. If your dog has never pulled before, be sure to take your time and allow him to get used to this new experience. Weight pulling is not complicated, but every dog needs to learn at his or her own pace. Start by putting the weight pull harness on your dog, giving him plenty of praise and rewards. If your dog is unsure of himself, your first training session may be nothing more than simply putting the harness on and then taking it off. Once your dog is comfortable in his harness, he's ready for the next step. But be warned, you're not ready to start dragging just yet. We recommend that you start out by just walking your dog in his harness, with you or a companion dragging the weight behind him. Let your dog move with you, just as though you were on a normal walk, instead of calling your dog to you from the front. He will soon learn that this noisy thing following him around is nothing to worry about. As always, different dogs become desensitized to this new experience at different rates, so be patient. Once your dog is accustomed to the drag weight behind him, you're ready to let him pull. Now you can connect the light weight to your dog's harness, and just as you did before, begin walking forward. Most dogs will simply walk along with you. Here we see Indy dragging a light weight for the very first time, and she's doing great. She's not overly nervous, though she does check in regularly with her owner, Peggy. However, some dogs may hesitate when they first feel this new resistance behind them. This is perfectly normal. Do not force your dog to pull, but instead encourage him to move forward on his own. You'll notice here that Robin keeps a leash attached to the drag sled, so he can help Benson by taking on some of the weight if she hesitates. When an uncertain dog takes even one single step forward on his own, give him lots of praise and rewards. With patience, he'll soon learn to pull with confidence. Your dog does not need to pull hundreds of pounds to benefit from weight pulling. A regular 10-minute walk with a light weight added, such as a plastic gallon bottle filled with water or a load of firewood, is part of an effective conditioning routine. And you were going for a walk with your friend anyway, right? For mental and physical conditioning, and especially if you're using weight pulling to help address behavioral issues, there's no reason to ask your dog to pull the high weights he would be pulling in a competition. Generally, you want just enough weight so your dog can pull smoothly and evenly, even at a trot. The surface on which he is pulling will also affect resistance and subsequently the effort he needs to put out. Here are some guidelines. When pulling on dirt, grass, or dry ground, the weight your dog pulls should be equal to or less than his body weight. On mud, sand, or deep snow, there's more resistance, so you want to decrease the weight he pulls. Conversely, on well-packed snow, there's much less resistance, so your dog can pull up to 2.5 times their body weight. And please avoid dragging on any rough surfaces such as concrete or pavement. The textured surface is harsh and can damage your dog's paw pads. Always test the weight yourself before asking your dog to pull, so you're familiar with the weight and the way it handles in the current conditions. Bear in mind also that as the dragging surface changes, the resistance changes as well. Longer grass, an uphill slope, mud, these will all slow your dog down. And whenever you increase the difficulty, for example, increasing distance or pulling time, you should decrease the weight he is pulling, at least until he adjusts to your new challenge. As your dog's fitness improves, you can slowly increase the weight you're asking him to drag. When one tire becomes easy for him to pull, it's time to add on a second tire. Adding an extra length to a chain is also quick and easy. Alternatively, you can increase the time you're asking him to drag. Remember, the key is helping your dog to improve his overall physical condition. You are building endurance and strength, so there's no need to push your dog to his extreme physical limit during routine training. You only need to increase weight as your dog's fitness improves and the weight becomes too easy for him to pull. No matter what equipment you are using to train and condition your dog, always take the time to check it thoroughly before every training session. The health and safety of your dog depends on it. Whether pulling at home or at a training facility or club, here are a few reminders. Make sure the equipment you are using is safely and securely hooked to a properly fitted weight pull harness. The clip you use should be secure, yet easy to hook and unhook. Never, ever attach any weight to your dog's collar. Be ready to take control of the sled or cart that your dog is pulling. If you're alone with your dog, a leash attached to the bridle of a sled will help prevent it from slipping out of control. It also gives you the opportunity to help pull the sled if it becomes too heavy for your dog or if it gets stuck on a hill or in a rut. Having a second person available to help is even better. While you work with your dog from the front, the second person can take control of the sled from the back. We strongly discourage the use of wheeled carts for home training. You can achieve greater resistance with smaller weight increments by dragging than on a rolling surface. If you do choose to use a wheeled cart, having a second person at the back of the cart ready to stop the forward motion is an absolute must. If your dog stops and the cart continues to roll forward unchecked, it could easily roll into your dog. Even if he isn't injured, a bump from behind could severely affect your dog's confidence and cause a training setback that could take a long time to repair. Keep an eye on your dog, especially when first preparing to pull, to ensure he is not tangled in the harness or equipment. Recognize that even small changes can make a big difference for your dog. Whenever there is a change in your training that makes your dog's task more demanding, you need to do something to make that training session a little easier. If you increase the weight he's pulling, then move closer when you call him. In extreme temperatures, you may want to decrease the weight you're asking him to pull. Are you pulling in a new area or with extra distractions around? Increase the reinforcements you give. Increase the weight your dog pulls in small increments. If your dog cannot pull the weight, then decrease it and work to improve their physical conditioning before advancing. And always keep your dog's health and safety your first priority. In extreme temperatures, watch your dog for signs of distress or dehydration. And if he shows any signs of physical injury, stop immediately and check your dog thoroughly. Remember, dogs love to have a job to do, so let them help you bring in that Christmas tree. Or lend a paw with the gardening and landscaping. They can even bring in the firewood. Most of all, have fun as you continue to build a strong, cooperative, positive relationship with your canine companion. Thanks for watching. There's more videos on the way.